around here today. She was a bit injured here last year, Cindy, and was not able to come through with the victory. In the men's 10K, Rob Castella, a tremendous marathoner, but he can really do it all, Tony. He is listed as one of our favorites, along with Jon Sinclair, who has finished second here 2 years in a row, and the great Michael Musyoki, who has a couple of Revco crowns.
I think between Michael and Jon Sinclair, I think that's going to probably be our lead pair. They're going to want to take it out. They know that they have to get away from people like John Treacy, who is in this crowd as well, and has a tremendous speed toward the end. I think they're going to be pushing this pace right from the beginning. It's going to be nice to see. And Ashley Johnson, always a contender here in Cleveland, too. On the women's side, Cindy, Ann Audain, is she running against herself today? It looks that way. Based on who's entered in the race going in, it looks like she's the big favorite. All right, now before the start of this morning's Revco 10K, let's take a quick tour of the 6.2 fast miles of downtown Cleveland that make up this flat, quick road racing circuit. The 10K field lines up at the corner of East 18th and Euclid for the start of their 6.2-mile trek through the streets of Cleveland. Now the first mile will take the runners west on Euclid Avenue to Public Square, where they will make a right-hand turn on Ontario and then another right-hand turn on St. Clair. This will put the runners on a straight course for the race's turnaround point at East 44th and St. Clair, 3.1 miles into the race. Once the runners make that turn, they repeat the same route back to the finish line at Cleveland State. Last year, a fabulous race. Nick Rose out-kicking Jon Sinclair, grabbing the lead from him late, taking it down to the finish line, and you saw it in our pre-race warm-up show. It was a fabulous finish as Rose looked over his shoulder to hold off the charging Sinclair, who has been defeated 2 years in a row in very tight races. Musyoki did it to him 2 years ago, and then, of course, Nick Rose won last year. Rose is probably not here today. He has a throat problem, so probably will not be here, as of yesterday anyway, had not arrived in Cleveland to defend his 10K championship. The other women's favorites, besides Ann Audain, Gayleen Clues is Rob Castella's wife, and she is a triathlete. That's true, but Gayleen is sometimes always in Rob's shadow, but in her own right, she's a very good athlete and a very good runner.
Okay,
I
folks,
believe last year,
we get you guys lined up,
7 races, she finished 4th overall, which is quite good in that field. One thing interesting about Gayleen is that she was ranked #1 in the world in the short course triathlon. I think an all-around outstanding athlete. She has a swimming background, but really I think running is her strength. And the other favorite, Georgiana Haviland, is the women's marathon champion from last year and did not win, or decided not to run the marathon this year because of a lack of training time. There is our first wheelchair competition as we take a look right now. And there is our leader right now as he comes down. They are going off on the 10K course. We are back at the start-finish line now for the start of the 10K. Nervous moments down there. You know it's a fast course. You know you can't waste a lot of time. What is Ann Audain thinking down there right now? I really don't know what she'd be thinking, but I imagine she's just sort of getting her race game plan together. And Tony, with that star-studded men's field, what are they all thinking? I think they want to get out, get a clean start, try not to bump too much, and get, as soon as they can, get themselves into a nice rhythm that's going to hopefully be not too anaerobically taxing for them. Here they go. They're off and going. The 10K start. As we have told you, we have highlighted the field for you just to give you a marathon update. As we last reported to you, our leaders in a pack of 3, Victor Sanchez from Austin, Texas, and also Alicio Rijos from Portugal, and Doug Curtis, who finished second here last year. He is from Worthville, Michigan, out of Michigan State University, who's run many marathons, and there's the start of the 10K. Look at that. Thousands of throngs of people who are trying to put in the hours of training themselves and love running this course, and they have a great day to do it. This is over very fast. You'll see an awful lot of strategy used here today. The 10K off and going here in Cleveland this morning. One of the nice things about, especially for all these folks who are going to be the 10,000 in the 10-kilometer event, is that it's a distance that is trying enough for the average person because it's 6 miles after all. but something that's not so demanding that you can go ahead and plan a schedule of training, do it, and at the same time really enjoy their time out there.
There's your leader right now, Adam Hoyle. He is from Australia, a running partner of Rob Castella, and he was figured to be the man that would go out and set the pace here early, and he has done that. Adam Hoyle jumps out to the early lead in the men's 10K. As we look at the back of the pack right now, there you see them coming down. Adam Hoyle coming in here today. He is a running mate of Rob Castella, as we said, and Hoyle jumps out quickly here at the start of the men's 10K. And so he's out there right now all by himself, and there you see the pack of runners behind him.
He has a job cut out for him. I think being out in the lead like this, it's somewhat difficult, mostly psychologically, but for Adam, he's a type of runner that won't mind that. He's going to like being in the lead because then he's more in control. The other folks, however, are probably just trying to gauge things, looking at each other and wondering how things are going to shape up over this first, second mile, and at the same time trying to monitor their energies for the fast finishes that are going to happen.
Now, for the other folks that are running the race, just the people that are out there that plop down their $10 to run in the Revco races today, tell us this: they have to be very, very excited out there, and sometimes you can probably get yourself out there a little bit too quickly, Cindy.
Yeah, sometimes the excitement of being in a race like this with all the people around causes people to go out a little bit too hard, as you said. And that can be a rather dangerous situation for the average runner because then they really die at the end. They don't have the fitness level to keep it up.
Once again, Adam Hoyle, the early leader right now in the men's 10K, and a close second place.
That's right, Sam Ngatia. You can see that the pack is just creeping up to the leader there, and I think what happens, this is usually typical for an early part of a 10,000 meter race for the elite folks. Just someone will take it out, try to get in control, and then the others will try to gradually just reel him in, and then eventually try to put their own strategy into play.
Ngatia has been here before and also been in this position before of being able to take the pack out along with the leaders, Adam Hoyle and Sam Ngatia right now running 1-2. We have a women's marathon update for you at 2 miles. Susan Borowski with a split time of 12 minutes and 10 seconds through 2 miles is right now the leader in the women's marathon. She finished, I believe, second or third here last year in the women's field, coming in from Pennsylvania. So Susan Borowski is in the lead right now.
Right, now she's running 6:05 pace, which would be somewhere in the low 240s, so she's definitely on a PR pace. I think her previous best is a 3-hour marathon coming in.
Cindy, you've never run the marathon course here in Cleveland. You've run the 10K course, but I know that you have done marathoning in your career, and certainly, would you call that your prime race right now?
I think that it is probably my best distance. However, a marathon is such a long race. You can only run a couple a year. I only race 2 times a year, and I prefer to run a 10K race because I recover so much more quickly.
Yeah, the legs doesn't take it all out.
You couldn't convince Doug Curtis of that, could you?
No.
Doug, by the way, we'll be looking at him shortly. Runs at least monthly in these marathons, but recovers real nicely.
Now we see Rob Castella moving up on the shoulder of Adam Hoyle. Rob Castella is number 5 right there. In the middle is Sam Ngatia. Adam Hoyle still in the lead, but that's Castella closest to you as they make the swing around the corner and continue to go out. And if you could peer off to the side of that van, way over on the left as you looked at it, I believe I spotted Jon Sinclair of Fort Collins, Colorado, looking for the victory here in Cleveland. Tony won the marathon here in 1982, Tony Sandoval, and I know the marathon is your favorite race.
It certainly is. It seems like, as I grew up, it always worked out that the longer I ran, the better I did, and so I naturally gravitated toward that event.
There you have it. Now Sam Ngatia out in front, Adam Hoyle right there in the middle also, and also checking in there is... I'm trying to pick up that other number. There it is, number 34, and that is Gidemis Shahanga. He is in there too. And we mentioned the name of Australia's Rob Castella. He talked about this morning's race and his preparations for the Olympic Marathon coming up in Seoul.
This year being an Olympic year, that's a major event on our running calendar. So everything leading up to the Olympics is part of my preparation for it and is really aimed at performing well in Seoul. Because I'm primarily a marathon runner, these shorter distances are the sorts of events that I really enjoy because I can come in here with probably a little bit less pressure than I feel in a marathon event, and I can afford to go out and race hard, try to be competitive, and hopefully come off it well.
Sam Ngatia in the lead right now. He is number 22. Adam Hoyle is right behind him. Hoyle is in the blue, white, and red racing outfit. We continue to look for Michael Musyoki, and that could be Musyoki coming up on the far outside.
Yes, Michael's on the left there as you see the screen, and he's wearing the red shorts. He likes to just pace himself, watch the leaders, and with a tremendous speed will probably not make a move till toward about maybe midway into the race.
And the pack continues to run down. Ann Audane and the rest of the women right now back in the pack, and we'll wait for them to emerge, and it will be interesting to see what their split times are this morning too. Cleveland State right now, believe it or not, people are still starting right now as they make their way through. And Cindy, you mentioned that when you ran in the Los Angeles Marathon as a training run for you, for the first couple of miles you just had to kind of like almost jog in place.
Oh yes, and keep your hands out to make sure you didn't trip over anybody. It was a completely different experience. I think as an elite runner you get a little spoiled because you always get to start right up there in the very front. And starting way back, it was really different. It took me 2 minutes just to get to the start line.
You know, the one thing people always comment to me is, how do we get an accurate time when you're back in the pack? And really, it's not all that difficult. As everyone lines themselves up according to what their predicted pace is, what they really realistically think they can do. And then coming across the starting line, they can actually look at a clock that is placed right there, particularly so that they know their differential. When they finish, they can separate, they can subtract that time and know what their actual 10K time was.
From our Channel 3 helicopter this morning, sending you the aerial view as Public Square. Around the corner they come, and we widen out, and they're still coming and will continue to come. Over 10,000 running today. Gittimus Shahanga is in the lead. They ran their first mile on the 10K at 4:30. How do you evaluate that?
Shahanga is going out. It's a beautiful, I mean, that's just perfect. 4:30 pace will give you about 28 minutes for 10 kilometers. And considering that, you know, going up Euclid Avenue is probably, being that it's a start, is probably a little on the uphill side, they're looking toward a really, really quick time.
I love these people that continue to wave to the cameras. They know they're on TV, and I think that's great here this morning.
It's a special time for them. They're all enjoying themselves, you can see, and the 10-kilometer event is one that I keep reiterating that it's just so much fun because they can go out there, have a good time, and yet not be totally drained as a marathon might put you.
There's your lead pack right now. Sam Ngatia is number 22. He is in the lead. Continue to try and pick up the number of the second place runner right now.
You can see Jon Sinclair there.
That is Michael Musyoki, isn't it? That is Musyoki right there on the shoulder of Sam Ngatia. Musyoki in a familiar position for him, and the man that set the pace early, Adam Hoyle, has dropped back. Jon Sinclair is right in there too, right behind that lead pack, and Rob D. Castella. That's a very, very talented field of runners. Ngatia won the Rome Marathon earlier this year. Tremendous runner. And there's Michael Musyoki. Musyoki told the race directors, imagine this, after last year's race, he felt that he had let them down. He's a very, very honorable man, a very loyal man to this particular race because he's run so well here and they have treated him so well and he's enjoyed the crowd. That's about the biggest lead that we've had in the 10K right now that Ngatia has grabbed from Michael Musyoki. Musyoki with that smooth running style from El Paso, Texas.
You can see Michael is a fierce competitor. Both of these folks are. And Jon Sinclair, you can see just getting into the picture there as he's in the vertical striped singlet. And those two guys have run this race so many times. They know exactly when they have to make the moves, exactly what grade is going to come up to the course. And Sam's looking around. I mean, and Ngatia's looking around a little bit there.
Musyoki almost looks like he's looking right down towards the pavement. There you saw the course record and the world record just a second ago as Jon Sinclair right now, number 6, makes the move up over and right onto the shoulder of Musyoki. The course record is held here in Cleveland by Michael Musyoki as Sinclair now has made a little bit of a move himself.
I believe that Jon has finished second the past 2 years. Is that correct?
That's right.
So I'm sure that he really would like to avenge that and win this year. So he's a very tough competitor, and he looks like he's in perfect position right now.
Let's break away from the 10K right now. We'll go out to a water stop this morning, which are going to be very important along the marathon troops. And we say good morning to Kim Scott.
Good morning, Jim Donovan. You can see the runners are stopping by the water stop right now. We've already had at least 3 females in the marathon stop by. Our girl from Italy, Silvana has already passed, number 36, Nancy Kubasik, and number 29 has already passed. And everything is going very well. The weather is staying super. The sun is staying inside for a while, which I'm sure the runners are glad of. Back to you.
Silvana Cucchietti from Italy trying to qualify for the Italian women's Olympic team, trying to get a trip to Seoul, Korea. You look right now at Sam Ngatia, Jon Sinclair in the number 2 position, and right after that, Rob Castella. Let's go down to Cleveland State right now. Scott Newell and Jim Hooley with a very special interview.
Yes, we're with Jack Staff, who's Senior Vice President and General Counsel of Revco, and also Bo Sells, who's the CEO of Revco. You are involved in the Olympics. I'm wondering, what do you think of the field, being this is an Olympic year, and how you think that has affected things?
Right, well, the Olympics obviously affects the marathon perhaps the most, because the marathoners can only run a limited number of races. So those who have to get into the qualifiers are going to have to skip a race like Cleveland in an Olympic year. But I think it probably increases the quality in the 10K, because they stay in condition by running the 10K, and so overall I think it's probably a good year for the Revco no matter what.
Jack, we have a beautiful day here today, but what is the future? What is the commitment from Revco for the marathon and the 10K?
Well, we're committed to the future of the race. This year we're very happy with the way things have turned out, and next year we're going to improve it even more. We're committed to be here just as long as we can. Next year I expect, as Boak was saying, we're a little light in the marathon because of the Olympic year, but we have some tremendous athletes in the 10K. Next year they're going to have tremendous athletes in the marathon as well as the 10K.
Very good. Bo Sells, Jack Staff from Revco, thank you very much. Let's go back to the studio, and Jim.
Thank you very much, Jim, and there it is, the lead 3. We have a new man appearing there. 1, 2, 3. Let's go right down the route there. Sam Ngatia, number 1. Jon Sinclair, the second place finisher, as Cindy alluded to, 2 years in a row. And Ashley Johnson has made an appearance, and we've heard a lot about him. And Cindy, you say he can, if he's around near the end, he could be problems.
Yes, I think that the other runners are probably aware of this too, and that's one person that they don't want to really see with them near the end of the race, because Ashley is known for having a very strong finishing kick.
Look at Sam Ngatia looking around. Yep, there you are. There is Sinclair, and there is also, yep, there's Ashley Johnson.
Sam's probably looking around saying, hey, are you guys going to help me take this, work the pace a little bit? He knows that if they can, going up this stretch, if they can break away, put a few more yards between them and the majority of the pack there, that they'll be looking toward a 3-man race. I think Sinclair for sure doesn't want to let him get anything on them, and unfortunately for the two of them, if they don't be careful or aren't careful, Ashley's going to take them.
Now, I want to tell you about a 5-mile split in the men's marathon. They have covered 5 miles in 24 minutes, 57 seconds. They are ahead of your course record time after 5 miles in 1982, Tony, of 25:03, 24:57 through 5. The leader is Alicio Rijos, and as we told you, the leader right now in the women's marathon is Silvana Cucchietti, but we are watching the men's 10K as they have come up to the turnaround, and we are ready to take them back for an exciting final 3.1 miles of this race. We'll be back. Channel 3's coverage of Race Day 88 continues after this. The Revco Cleveland 10K course record of 28 minutes and 10 seconds was set in 1985 by Michael Musyoki. After that victory in 85, the former Olympic medalist returned in 1986 for another first-place finish with a time of 28 minutes, 31 seconds. However, after leading for much of the race last year, his lead slipped away in the final mile, and he finished in 4th place, 8 seconds behind the winner, Nick Rose. There is Sam Ngatia at the top of your screen, number 22. He is in the lead right now. They have turned it around. There they are. They're on their way back home as you see our 10K course map. Ngatia is in the lead. Appearing in the picture right now as we widen out, Jon Sinclair. Ngatia has been in that elite pack through many years here at Revco, and in the number 3 position as Sinclair now starts to come up on the right shoulder of Sam Ngatia. In the number 3 position is Ashley Johnson. The pace, we have a split time after the 3.1 mile mark of 15:05. The only reason that we are thinking that possibly might have slowed down, as we converse now with Cindy Welty and Tony Sandoval, our race experts today, is that in this 10K you must turn around. You must make a turn.
There's actually a pylon set right in the center of the street there, and they have to make a 180-degree turn, and it causes them, some concern, because if they're close together, or certainly if you have a good head of steam, you have to be very careful and not hurting yourself or taking a tumble at that turn.
It is Ngatia, but right over his shoulder, the blonde running there, Jon Sinclair. We talked with Jon Sinclair about his strategy for this 10K race.
I don't really come into a race like this with any kind of specific strategy. I have certain ideas about how other people will run, and I watch those people at certain times during the race. And I really don't want to come down to a kick between a whole bunch of people and myself, because I don't feel real confident about a kick. But other than that, I try and play it pretty loose and just sort of let things happen as they happen.
All right, what is he thinking right now, though, Cindy? I mean, he's been beaten here the last 2 years, and last year he lost a heartbreaker as he took the lead down Euclid Avenue and then lost it to Nick Rose on a kick. He, as you mentioned, he probably knows Ashley Johnson is behind him, and he's a kicker if they can bring it down the wire. Sinclair running through his mind right now.
Well, Jon wants to win this race bad. He's finished second here twice, and I think he's going to have to make a move here pretty soon so he can get away from these guys. I think that if he wants to stick with his plan on trying to win this race, we'll see him make a move fairly soon.
One thing about Jon is, he really doesn't have to apologize for his speed. He has plenty of speed. The problem, I think, is that you get someone who has real raw miler speed like Ashley. That makes a difference in this race, 10,000 meters. However, if they can maintain that pace up, he's going to be in enough acidosis, as we say, or oxygen debt to make it tough when it comes down to that last quarter mile.
All right, there you see Sam Ngatia in the lead right now. Last year's men's 10K race came right down to the final steps, as we have told you, as England's Nick Rose beat Colorado's Jon Sinclair. This was that finish. He beat him really by one step. There you have it. Rose looking over, sensing victory, as Nick Rose won his second Cleveland title. The winning time on a hot, steamy day last May, 28 minutes and 50 seconds, and there was Sinclair. As we come back out, there is Jon Sinclair in a familiar position for him here in Cleveland in second place, but very, very close. It was at this point 2 years ago he lost the race to Michael Musyoki. Musyoki put him away at this stage 2 years ago. Last year he held the lead, as you saw, very late. Sam Ngatia in the lead. The 7-mile split now in the men's marathon, 34 minutes and 58 seconds. Your leader is the same leader we had at the start of the race, Alicio Rijos. Mark Heglison of Cincinnati is in the number 2 position, and one of our marathon men's favorites, Pablo Vigil, who has won here twice. Am I correct in saying that, Tony?
That's right.
He is in the number 3 position. A 6-mile split time now on the men's marathon, 29 minutes and 58 seconds. What kind of pace are they working on there?
That's right at 2:11. They're running about 5-minute pace, and if you were to be a computer, and actually plot it out, that would be 2:11:06. Very fast, certainly underneath the course record. It hurts me.
Okay, but this is the men's 10K that we are looking at now. That's an unofficial clock up on the corner of your screen. Number 22, Sam Ngatia. Number 6, Jon Sinclair. And number 10, Ashley Johnson in the number 3 position from Bowling Green, Kentucky, as they move past some of our wheelchair competitors, and they are bringing it on home as we bring it down into the square, and they'll be coming back down along Euclid to the stretch run down into Cleveland State.
As competitive as we are, and as the runners are going through this 10,000 meter, and even at that fast pace, a lot of them are so sportsmanlike, they'll actually reach down. You may not have noticed or may not see them, because certainly Jon and Sam and Ashley here are probably very concentrating on their efforts. But they reach down and just slap some of these wheelchair runners on the shoulder or something, maybe make a comment, say keep it up or something. But it's incredible the camaraderie that's out there, both among the athletes running and the wheelchair competitors.
All right, our leading wheelchair competitors coming down, and our leader very early in the race, and there is no reason to believe that is not our leader right now, is Jonathan Puffenberger from Fostoria, Ohio, as he comes on home now for the victory here in the open competition. In the men's 10K, as the police escort brings Mr. Puffenberger back down into Cleveland State onto the victory, there you have the front 3 in the men's 10K. Sam Ngatia, Jon Sinclair, Ashley Johnson, a three-man race, and we do have a 4-mile split time on them right now of 18 minutes and 29 seconds. When will somebody make a move, do you think? When do you think?
I don't think they're going to make a move until they come around Public Square, because they've got that little rise there at that point, make two sharp corners, which are, don't affect their speed too much, but still they have to be concentrating on. And so I think that's when it's going to make a difference. You can see that I think there was a separation there. Ashley, when we looked on profile, looked a little bit, stretched out a bit. John, however, and Sam looking just fine.
Our first wheelchair competitor coming in.
There it is.
To win here in Cleveland this morning. Our first winner of the day coming in. And we'll pick up a number on that as quickly as we possibly can for you.
There's the first of the 90-degree turns. They'll have one more after they complete this rise, and I think then that is when the firecracker is going to happen.
If we could widen out there, and it looked as though Ashley Johnson has fallen a little bit off the pace. Now, where does that put him right now? Is that dangerous to fall off this late?
I would imagine it would be a little bit dangerous. You don't want to be getting behind at this late stages in the game. However, it looks like he's making a little move to try to catch back up with them now.
Yeah, he caught right back up. He was only away for the corner, and then he said, well, I know Cindy's probably back in the studio saying I better get back in there, and he did. Ashley Johnson back intact with the pack. Jon Sinclair looking strong, but Sam Ngatia is in the lead right now.
Sam's done a lot of the work. It's going to be interesting to see how he holds up over this last mile as they come down Euclid Avenue to the finish.
This should be an outstanding finish, keeping up with the tradition of the Cleveland Revco 10K races. Let me just point out this to you. Imagine, in that 10K field is a very famous runner by the name of Bill Rogers. This is the first time that we are mentioning Bill Rogers. This is probably the latest that Bill Rogers has ever been mentioned in a race broadcast. How about that? A 4-time Boston Marathon winner, a 4-time New York City Marathon winner, but he's running the 10K here in Cleveland today. But these are the specialists that you're looking at right now. Somewhere back in the pack is Bill Rogers. Now, Rob Castella was up there early, but here it is, a 3-man race. Sam Ngatia in the lead, Jon Sinclair, Ashley Johnson right behind them.
Again, Ashley is starting to he was making that, to try to make that comeback up that rise. Probably took a little bit of extra energy out of him, and now as they start making their surges to the finish, he's just having trouble holding on. I hope if he can keep that contact, that's going to be important. Once you lose that contact, it might be a little tough for him.
Now, there is Ann Audain right now as we have picked her up. And look at that illustrious career. She is well in the lead in the women's 10K. Strong.
I think when we previewed her earlier, she's sort of, I don't think she gave herself the credit that she needs to. She's in excellent shape. She's looking to run at the Olympics at 10,000 meters. She's already been selected to the team for New Zealand. I think she probably didn't describe herself as outstanding as she is.
Yeah, Ann Audain holds New Zealand records, I believe, in the 1,500, 3,000, 10,000, and she's also got a really good marathon under her belt, so she's a very versatile runner, quite a large range.
All right, but we're back now in the minds and right in the face of Sam Ngatia. And Jon Sinclair peeking out of the corner. It is now down to a 2-man race. It is effective to say now that Ashley Johnson's racing day is over as he has dropped back into the number 3 position off the lead pack. It has been Ngatia and Sinclair really right from the start. Ngatia was right there in that lead pack as here they come right down towards Cleveland State. The clock up in the corner of the screen. The 5-mile split, 23:11. 23:11. Musyoki's course record could fall here today as they come down towards Cleveland State. The course record set in 1985 by Michael Musyoki was 28:10.
That's right. You saw Sam there for a little. I think it was gamesmanship more than knowing than really wanting to look at his watch and see what kind of pace they were at. He knows the time. He knows his pace. You can sense it just on the tension of the muscles. I think he was mostly doing that for Jon's sake, Jon Sinclair there, and saying, hey, I'm just in control here. I want to just let you know that I'm trying to psych you a bit here.
Probably about a half-mile left as they come down right now. And if you are recognizing where they are, moving by the Playhouse Square district there, Sam Ngatia, number 22 in the lead. Jon Sinclair trying to win here in Cleveland. I get the feeling he would desperately like to pull this one out today. As there you see Sinclair now starting to make a bit of a move. Coming up on the shoulder of Sam Ngatia as he veers up a little bit on the right shoulder. And Ngatia and I'm only saying this as I watch him, appears to be laboring just a little bit.
Well, I think actually Jon tried to come up on his shoulder. He sort of dug down. You could see him kind of tuck his chin a little bit, made a little move, kind of slacked off again. Now he's trying to stay up again. It looks to me like he's working hard at trying to keep up with Sam. Sam's looking nice.
Now it appears as though, as I said a few steps ago, Ngatia appeared to be laboring, but now on the other side, look at the length of the stride lengthening out on Sinclair. He is definitely trying to make the move right now. There's the clock. Musyoki's record will be safe. The course record will be safe as they have now gone past that.
You can see they're both lifting now. You can see that by their knees. You can see their heel lift coming way back. They're both almost at high gear. I don't think they're quite sprinting all out, but here they go.
Here comes Sinclair, and there is Ngatia. It's an all-out sprint to the finish line right now. Ngatia in the lead. Sinclair has made 2 or 3 moves at him, and here comes the 4th. Is it good enough? Look at the crowd out on the sidewalk cheering them home. Sam Ngatia has appeared to maybe put Sinclair away down towards the finish line.
They're digging now. They're really digging. Here comes a 5th move by Jon. There he goes. He's at high gear.
At the finish tape, it is Ngatia with the victory over Sinclair in an incredible finish down at the tape. Sam Ngatia held off 5 moves by Jon Sinclair and was first to grab the blue ribbon as he just got it, by a fingertip.
I just can't. That's incredible. My heart is pounding right now.
And you're a cardiologist.
That's right.
Here it is once again.
Look at this.
And I mean, it is a photo finish. Get your camera out on this one. Watch Ngatia. Sinclair, and there it is. Boom. Sam Ngatia with the victory over Jon Sinclair. And for the 3rd year in a row, Sinclair is nicked, and I mean even nicked, at the wire.
I'm sure Jon is disappointed that he didn't win. However, he's got to feel good. He definitely gave it his all. He never gave up. He pushed it the whole entire way, all the way down to the wire.
I think both of them are going to be really satisfied. Certainly Jon may be disappointed, a little bit maybe dejected that he got 2nd. But boy, the way they ran that race, to be able to surge multiple times like that, come back on it and surge again, that takes incredible physiologic prowess, and both of them just were superb at it.
I mean, Sinclair gave him every move in the book, didn't he? I mean, he showed him.
I think
he came up side by side with him down Euclid Avenue about 4 or 5 times. Literally made about 5 or 6 moves on him.
I think he changed gears more than probably a trucker could on a Mack truck. It's incredible.
So now you've both seen an awful lot of racing. Is that one of the closest 10K finishes?
I believe it's one of the closest I've ever seen.
On the road, you rarely see them that close. Usually someone breaks away, someone can actually do it, or like Nick Rose did to Jon, move it a bit. But
here it is again.
Here it is. Just
Ngatia,
enjoy it, folks.
Sinclair, they are shoulder to shoulder right now. Ngatia maybe with the upper torso just getting out in front. He knows he has it right there. Arms up. Sinclair knows that he's just going to miss. I mean, as the tape is breaking away, you can see the blue ribbon almost wrapping around Sinclair. For a second, it looked as though they were going to end up tied. And there is your women's leader. Now, the 10K world record, 30:59. The course record, and that lady right there, Ann Audain from New Zealand, holds it 31:59. She's at 31:04 right now, and she is very close to the finish. She could break her course record time.
Yeah, it looks like she might have a shot at it. I'm kind of surprised there are no men running around her. She looks like she's running completely by herself. A lot of times there will be men who like to run with the first woman, and it's surprising in this case that doesn't seem to be happening.
From that side or that reference, the men actually probably pace off some of these faster women. I mean, because the last thing you want to see is have your friends tease you that someone beat you, but no way. I think Ann has probably put them away long before this.
Have you ever had that happen, Cindy?
Yes, I have, and it's really funny because a lot of times women can get in trouble. There's a pacing rule out. They're not allowed to be paced by men, and a lot of times it's the other way around. The men are just trying to hang with the first women.
Ann Audain will win her 5th Revco title here in the 10K, and she is coming in right now. She will not grab her course record time, 31:59. Musyoki and Audain broke the course records, or set the course records, in the same year, in 1985. So that was a tremendous year for the 10Ks, but you witnessed a tremendous finish in the men's 10K. And here comes Ann Audain. In all her glory, coming in, it will be her 5th crown. She lost last year to Maureen Cogan. Cogan not racing here today. Audain was a bit under not up to 100% last year. was having a nagging hip and back problem at that time, but she's coming through with the victory right now, as you see our motorcycle camera alongside as we go from topside at Cleveland State. Ann Audain coming through with the victory here at Cleveland State, and the crowd well knows Audain as they are out to the sidewalks to cheer her through and cheer her home onto the victory.
Ann's become an institution here, and boy, I think she deserves it all.
Ann Audain, will be interesting to hear what she has to say, post-race comments. First sign of victory for her right there, showing it, and there it is. Ann Audain unofficially at 33:03.
That's a fair time. I imagine Ann would have liked to have run a little faster. However, she's got to feel pleased with that. She literally ran that by herself. She had no competition. So I think it was a very good effort for her.
You know, a great win by Audain, and certainly a tremendous athlete, but I think we're still all reaching for our breath a little bit after the show that Sam Ngatia and Jon Sinclair turned in the men's 10K. And we'll be showing that to you a little bit later on in the show. We'll show it as much as possible because that was an outstanding finish right down to the last step. All right. As you watch Ann Audain right now, here she comes in her closing steps to her 5th championship. And now what will Audain do in the next coming months as she prepares herself for the Olympic Games in Seoul, Cindy?
I really don't know. I imagine she'll probably run some more road races, and I'm not sure if she'll be going back to her home country to train for the games or not. I would imagine she probably will be doing that. So we may not see her at too many of the road races in the United States this summer.
Now, at what point does she go to the track to do an awful lot of track work?
I imagine she's been doing track work all along. Most of these elite runners are training on the track because that's where you get your base speed for the roads.
All right, our winners in the 10K. Sam Ngatia wins in the men's division. Ann Audain for the 5th time in the women's division. Cleveland Race Day Revco 88 continues. We'll have more right after this.
Carol? Hi! Is this your size?
It is now.
You look wonderful. Did you stop eating?
No, I stopped cheating.